Welcome into Between the Bylines. I'm John Camacho.
And this is Jacob Waters.
And we're going to talk football today.
Yes.
As opposed to any other day where we talk about the Oscars. Don't make me slap you, bro.
Smack the shit out of me.
Smack the shit out of me. All right, so we are doing one of our favorite thing to do on this pod is to just have it off the riff and just, talk to talk. What?
Nothing.
What?
I just looked over.
Okay.
I was just having...
You made me feel weird about us saying talk to talk.
No, I was just trying to have general camera awareness where, you look at different points and stuff.
Yeah.
You're clearly one of those points.
All right. Anyway, we're gonna talk some football. We're gonna talk about things and stuff. We've been doing a bunch of quizzes off camera. We thought about doing it on camera, and we were like, this is intense. There's some randomness to it. But we were playing some Sporkle quizzes, and who was the passing leader by draft class of the 2011 draft?
There's some weird ones in there.
It was Mike Glennon was one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
With 7,000 yards or something. We were sitting here just brain fried.
Yeah, so if I sound dumb, it's because I am dumb, but also because I fried my brain on those quizzes. All right, so first thing we should probably talk about, Tyreek Hill is a Miami Dolphin, and that is a sentence I never thought I'd say, and it's still seeping in.
Are you happy?
Yeah, as a Dolphins fan, I think it came out the day after we recorded this, so we're a week late to this convo, but I feel like I want to talk about it, so we're going to talk about it a little bit. I still don't know how to feel. A week later, and I'm still I don't know. When I woke up and I saw the rumor, right, and it was between seeing the rumor and the trade happening, it was maybe 25, 30 minutes.
Happened really fast.
Yeah, it happened, especially, and I sleep late. So, I saw the rumor, and the rumor probably already been out for a couple hours, that the Dolphins and Jets were the front runners to get Tyreek Hill. And I was like, I hope that's not true. My first instinct was, it wasn't even that. My first instinct was the Dolphins is a terrible spot for Tyreek Hill to land. And I still kind of feel that way. I feel like if you own Tyreek Hill in fantasy or in dynasty or anything, you kind of took an L on this trade, right?
I don't think you kind of took an L. I think you definitely took an L. Now, the skill set that is Tyreek Hill is a good talent to have in Miami for sure. But when we're looking at Tua, and I guess the lack of arm strength and just skill set altogether, top to bottom.
Yeah.
Listen, Tyreek Hill and what he does with the speed, the burst, the playmaking ability is a match made in heaven, if not more, with Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
You could not go to a more, I guess, opposite style quarterback, I would say, than the rocket arm of Pat Mahomes going to Tua, who, we just haven't seen that yet. We don't even know if he can throw the ball 60 yards down the field. I'm sorry. So.
Yeah. No, look, I know he could in college when he had perfect protection and every wide receiver was a first-round pick. The 4 that he threw to were all first-round picks.
He's basically
he was probably playing against guys that, weren't first-round picks. We saw it in college, and he was obviously able to do that when everything was perfect. And I do believe Tua is a good quarterback when everything's perfect, but I've been a Dolphins fan for a long time, and I've never seen everything be perfect in Miami. Yeah, maybe that comes now. I do think, he's going to add value, but people saying that he's going to be, the Deebo Samuel from the 49ers, because we got the offensive coordinator from the 49ers, so we're bringing over that system. Tyreek Hill is not Deebo Samuel. No. And obviously Tyreek Hill is a better all-around wide receiver, but Deebo Samuel's skill set is he runs like a running back. He's a thick, bigger guy
he's a Swiss Army knife when it comes to what he does on that team, but exactly. It's a different way.
It's a very different skill set.
Tyreek Hill puts y'all in the spot to where a lot of people are saying y'all are contenders now.
I think we're a quarterback away. We weren't a wide receiver away.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think we were.
Regardless of gaining the wide receiver or not, I still think we don't know what Tua is.
I will say, I think we can win 10 games and make it to the playoffs. I really do. I think we have a great defense. On paper, we have a great defense. If that defense doesn't miss a step with the loss of our head coach, obviously that was a big part of why we were so good. Check. We did have to get some huge upgrades on the offensive line. Check. We did upgrade our wide receiver core. Check. And yeah, I think our running game is going to match what the 49ers like to do. We have a lot of guys that can do
running back by committee.
Yeah, exactly. So like I'm excited for all of those things, and I do think we're going to be a better team than we were last year. I don't think we'll have to deal with a 7-game losing streak, and I think Tyreek Hill is going to be fun to watch on the Miami Dolphins as a Dolphins fan. But I also, and him plus Jalen Waddle plus Cedric Wilson, that's going to be a dynamic trio. Not to mention the Devontae Parker, if he's still on the team come September. I mean, that's the combinations are endless, and I do think there's a lot that you can do with that. I'm incredibly excited about it, but I have to divide it from, okay, as a Dolphins fan, super exciting. I think our team got better for sure, no doubt about it. And I thought the price was right. Everyone's like, heaping and hawing over 5 picks or whatever. It was, one of the last picks in the first round, a second rounder, and then some nothing picks later down the line. Like none of that bothered me too much.
It really doesn't. I just don't think that it's going to equate to anything more than what we still have the same question of. He would have been be the guy.
He would have been a lot better on the Jets with Zach Wilson's rocket arm. Because I 1,000%. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it in 1 year. At least Zach Wilson make throws that Tua couldn't make in his best day. I mean, there were just a couple throws here and there where like, oh, holy shit, that's what Zach Wilson could be. And yeah, I think Tyreek Hill on the Jets, that could have been crazy. And I'm glad he's not there because of division rival and all that. But man, from a Tyreek Hill perspective, and this is the other part that I haven't heard anybody talk about. And let me know what you think. He is going back home, but like there have been off the field issues, and I know a lot of that was like some domestic stuff that I'm not going to get into. But like I am a little bit nervous about him in Miami and him kind of like hitting the brakes as far as like his work ethic and all those other things.
The contract, and he's going to have a lot of money, a lot of time in Miami. I mean, who knows?
A lot to do in Miami.
I will say this. I think I don't want to sound as harsh as I am on thinking that Tyreek is just a deep ball go route guy. He's not that at all. He is a get the ball in his hands type of weapon. Very similar to a Jalen Waddle and what he can do when it comes to taking a bubble screen 70 yards, making people look stupid along the way. It's talents like that just aren't out there. And it is going to help the Dolphins tremendously and hopefully help Tua get his feet and make him feel more comfortable. And saying that he has a Mike Gesicki too, a good offensive line, Tyreek, Jalen, Devontae Parker, if they want that big X-style receiver. There's no reason.
Like Cedric Wilson is good from the Cowboys. Like we got him on a cheap deal. I'm excited about him too. I mean, our weapons are legit. There are absolutely no more excuses. And like
now go trade for Brady. I wish your coach came out this morning actually and squashed the rumors and said all that stuff. But
it was a dumb rumor.
Not a dumb rumor.
Why would he? Okay, first of all, Brady was trying to bring people back to Tampa as soon as he pretty much came back or came out of retirement. So he's not going to come back to go to Miami. Second of all, does he want to deal with the media blitzstorm of playing Belichick twice a year? And also, why would he take the downgraded offensive line?
You don't come back to something that you got acclimated to recently in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and having that whole run it back mentality just to go somewhere else on a last year hurrah at a team that you have no idea if it could work or not, that could not ruin your legacy. Nothing. Brady could go out there and literally throw pick after pick after pick, and in my head it might short term mess up some things. Long term his legacy is cemented. He's the GOAT of all time, and that's just that. So it's fine. I'm just saying the overall argument that y'all need a quarterback will be figured out by the end of this year.
Yeah,
I think guaranteed we'll know. I hope for your sake at least.
Yeah, no, and obviously the owner is all up to his butt. So that's why we switched
that's why you went and got the weapons
we switched coaches. We did all these things to placate the owner, who basically said no, it's Tua or nothing. It'll be interesting to see. I hope it's Tua. I still want to be wrong. Like I love Tua the person, and I think that's part of this thing that nobody talks about, and like the amount of respect that you have to have for Tua handling the rumors and bullshit of Deshaun Watson for a year and a half. And knowing that it's coming from his own building, handled it like a professional every step of the way, and really didn't let it rattle him on the field. He didn't change the way he played because
look
Deshaun
at what happened to Baker.
That's
in 2
exactly
days.
where I was going with. Baker Mayfield heard rumors for a day and a half. After the team had already cemented, like at the end of the season, the team said Baker's our guy for next season. So he had more assurances and $17 million to go along with it than Tua really ever did. and there was no
got to Baker bad.
It got to Baker bad, and I mean, you talk about the Browns said we wanted an adult in the room. Well, Tua's always been an adult in the room in my opinion, and if he can, if he can be Jimmy Garoppolo, if he can be, a maybe a less. I don't know. Like, I mean, his upside still is Drew Brees, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I'll take Drew. If that's what he can be on an offense that works with weapons around him, I will be totally fine with that. I think you can win a Super Bowl too with Tagovailoa. I just think all of the elements have to be perfect, and it's a lot easier to have a Deshaun Watson or a Patrick Mahomes or a Tom Brady behind center who can go out and, make things work when nothing else is working. That's kind of my argument. I'm still rooting for him.
I hope it works out. I mean, a lot of things are lining up to where, but the problem with that, though, is that we could say that for almost every single team in the AFC right now.
Yeah.
A lot of things are lining up the right way. It's like, you look at that, I don't know who's going to be the odd man out when you're looking at the landscape of that.
Dolphins drafted to a 1 pick ahead of Justin Herbert. If we would have taken Justin Herbert, we would be. I would argue we're Super Bowl favorites. I would.
I mean, I don't know about Super Bowl favorites.
I would argue on paper we're better than any team in the AFC.
Herbert is enough of a quarterback to where, in spite of weapons, he can propel a team further. I don't think Tua is in that same breath. I think we've seen that already.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that you see immediately off the rip. That's one of the ideas behind throwing them into the fire.
Yeah.
And one of the few times a guy's come out of that I thought wouldn't was Josh Allen. Josh Allen got thrown to it, and I would argue that he struggled heavily in the beginning.
Yeah.
People were ready to say, well, we saw the physical ceiling that's not going to hit, blah, blah, blah. He came out of it. There's a chance Tua can somehow salvage what's left and hit the whatever imaginary ceiling that we've made of him in saying that there's a reason that he was taken over Herbert. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Listen, the excuses are gone.
Yeah, no more excuses. I mean, you have the offensive line. Hopefully the offensive line works out. We paid a lot of money for a tackle. Yeah. We paid a good bit of money for a guard center combo from the Cowboys, and we have pieces. We have high draft picks invested in that offensive line. So hopefully we can find 5 guys that can work together and protect Tua. Either way, let's move away from the Dolphins. Other big things that happened this weekend. This is just something I don't feel like we touched on the Davante Adams trade quite enough a couple weeks ago, and I'm not trying to just go back and break that whole thing down, but I did listen to the Davante Adams press conference, and just it did kind of get me excited for the Derek Carr to Davante Adams thing. I'm so excited for that. I'm excited for.
Well, they've been longtime friends since college.
Yeah, absolutely, and they had a great run, and apparently every offseason until COVID hit, they were practicing together for 3 months out of the year.
Doesn't surprise me.
That's really, really cool. I'm excited for that. And I wanted to bring that back because it was Davante Adams' contract that got Tyreek Hill to basically say, no, I want to be the highest paid wide receiver in the league. Let me go out and get that money, which he did. Dolphins paid him. Dolphins had the money to pay him. So I don't have a problem with either side of that. Do you think Davante Adams is better than Tyreek Hill or vice versa?
Wow.
That's where I was. Yeah,
that's tough. That's a tough question because
I
don't think you can say that because we argued about wide receivers top to bottom a few days ago or last week, whenever it was, and I think you have to look at the team. I think the team and the role that they play in that offense is monumental to overall value on it. Because I would argue Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, but over the past 3 years, Tyreek Hill has been the best wide receiver in the NFL. I will say that. And maybe not so much 2022, but I will say from 2019
always having to worry
to
about
2021, he was the biggest. I mean, what is a wide receiver? Wide receiver is supposed to be a weapon. A great wide receiver is a weapon that nobody can stop. And I don't care that he wasn't 6'4" running like he wasn't like the classical wide receiver that we talk about. But yeah, I would say from a strictly threat perspective, I didn't feel like you could ever really count Tyreek out for anything, because at the worst case scenario, if he catches a 2-yard under route or slant, whatever it is, he can take that to the house. He can burn you any given the play. I'm sorry?
Davante Adams, Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp. And that list in itself is
Let's talk about that list. First of all, So you do have you have Devontae as the number one.
Yeah.
I don't think Davante Adams is the best wide receiver in the league. I really don't. I think he's really, really, really good. Deserves to be in the conversation for top 5. I don't think he's the best in the league. I don't think I think Tyreek Hill's a little bit ahead of him, and I think I would probably put some other guys ahead of him too. This is the part of that list that bothers me. First of all, Hopkins, I think you're giving him too much credit from his Texans days. We've seen 2 years with Cardinals, and he hasn't been the best wide receiver in the league, or he hasn't been a top 5 wide receiver.
It's the same argument that I have though when it comes to just what I believe in looking at talent versus what gets put out on the field. I cannot help it that his route tree is limited. With,
I'm not saying you can. I'm not saying you can, but like again, I've
seen that dude go up over 200-pound guys and snag a ball. Like that ability itself hasn't gone away.
Special.
That is still D-Hops. He still has that type of ability.
He's top 10. I don't think he's top 3.
I think I have a problem with you saying Cooper Kupp is number 1.
If you go by last year, if you're saying a list last year, he got the triple threat crown. I don't understand. Like I don't understand how we can't get. This is what's weird about this. I'm not the stats guy. I've never been the guy who looks at the stats and says, "Okay, he's the best."
Says the guy you're arguing over triple crown.
Bro, it was 21 games. Yeah. 20 games. Excuse me. 20 games of Cooper Kupp being unstoppable.
Yeah.
Every step of the way. I don't care that he's undersized. I don't care that he's not like the fastest guy on the field. I don't like, but he was doing it years before Stafford got there too. He was always good.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp is a damn good weapon. But he was number 3 on my list. I just don't think you can.
He was number 5 on your list.
Yeah, number 5 in this one. Yeah, number 5 in this one. And I honestly, I'm better with that. If we redrafted, stripped everything in this league, and you got to redraft wide receivers, Cooper Kupp he's not the first wide receiver taken.
I would agree with that. You said you had Jamar Chase 4?
Yes.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. Jamar Chase is special.
Jamar Chase and what he has done shut up a lot of people, myself included, about the whole protect Joe Burrow, get Panay because you need it, because a receiver can't swing your team that much. My God.
He swung a team.
He has made T. Higgins into T. Higgins now, because T. Higgins was good before, don't get me wrong. But now that he doesn't have to be the just number 1.
Yeah, I agree.
Now you're to the point where you have Tyler Boyd, who's a very, very good weapon. I'm surprised his name hasn't been mentioned in any move-arounds yet around the league.
Because he's getting paid. You'd think he could go to like a Jets or a Giants or something.
I was thinking Titans before they acquired Robert Woods, needing a wide receiver, needing a veteran wide receiver at that could help out some of that team in general. Not a bad move by any means, but I guess he's going to sit there and rock the 3 and help the guys out. Jamar Chase changed the way that we look at taking that type of wide receiver.
Yeah. Talking about wide receivers, and we like to talk about the draft a good little bit. Yeah. I'd like to talk about the draft. Chris Sims came out with his top 5 wide receivers, and Chris Sims has been a guy I've always listened to. Whether you love him or hate him, he is somebody who does not listen to the media at all as far as his evaluation, and he makes a real evaluation based on the criteria that he looks at. And he's been right more than he's been wrong. I'm not saying he hasn't ever been wrong, but especially with quarterbacks, like, dude has a track record to beat anybody's track record.
He's the quarterback guy. Yeah,
I mean,
he's the guy when you make your list and his looks weird, you need to go back and look at yours sometimes because it's like, well, dude, I don't agree Mahomes, with this.
He called Deshaun. He's called all the great quarterbacks that's come out of the past 5 years. He called Josh Allen. Josh Allen was his number 1 that year. Like, every single year he has nailed it, on the head. So, like, you got to listen to him. I'm going to pull that up right now just because, just to talk a little bit about wide receivers coming in. Because, again, it is another deep draft class. We're going into 3 years of being a deep draft class. And I would argue, like, this year is a little different because, like, we don't have, like, there's no Jamar Chase. I would argue Jamar Chase, maybe not Devontae Smith for me, but, like, Jalen Waddle, Jamar Chase probably would be the number 1 in this draft class. Devontae Smith probably would too, honestly. And then you could go back the
year before where you have a Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah,
and both of those guys. A Henry Ruggs type. I know where he's at now.
I think all of those guys probably ahead of or in the same realm as the number 1 guy in this class, and the number 1 guy is going to change based on your opinion.
They're ahead, yeah.
But who are your guys? Who do you like? Let's just talk about them.
You got to look at Chris Olavey, both Ohio State guys, Chris Olavey and Garrett Wilson. They're going to be first-round wide receivers. Jamison Williams is just a true talent out of Alabama. It was unfortunate to see him go down in that national championship game with the ACL injury, I believe. Hopefully he's going to be healed up. My favorite guy is Drake London out of USC. He got hurt with an ankle injury too, but I love Drake London. He's a big go-up-and-get-it receiver, one of the best big body types you can have. The problem is, that's why I always talk about receivers and ability and scheme and fit. if you're expecting him to be a certain type of thing, there are limitations there. Drake London does not have, and he's not poor in this area, it's just not what you would expect out of a top 10 pick, separation.
Yeah.
And sometimes has trouble separating against top tier cornerback talent. He can still go up and snag on you, but when it comes to the NFL, there's a lot of times where if you don't create that separation, you don't get the look in the first place. Very, very few people out there, and that's whenever you submit yourself as a D-Hops, get that look and they say, oh, well, he's guarded, I'm still going to trust my guy and go get it. That's Drake London's kind of thing. He's my personal favorite, though.
Okay.
Burks out of Arkansas is a pretty big one, too.
Yeah, the Razorbacks. So Chris Sims' list is very strange, and it's a little weird, especially the top three, not guys that you would think of. But talking about Drake London, he is at number 5 for his list at USC. And, you hit the nail on the head. Everything that he said about it, just reading the little excerpt here, he's a 90-10 guy. It's not 50-50, it's 90-10. But, yeah, separation is a real issue. I think anybody who watches him would agree, but also it is kind of cool to see a wide receiver in college just hyper targeted. That dude was hyper targeted.
Yes,
you knew where it was going, and he still brought it in. It is his highlights are as fun to watch as any highlights of any guy coming out in the past, I would say, 5 years. Especially if you like guys that are 50-50, go up and get
wherever he gets drafted, when he gets drafted, when they play the highlight reel of him, you're going to be like, oh my god.
And it is Mike Evans. It is
red zone threat.
Yeah, absolute red zone threat, and you hope that he can make it all part of it. Treylon Burks out of Arkansas, like you said, he's a weapon. He's a good player. He's at number 4 for Chris Sims. And I just think this is interesting. Alec Pierce out of Cincinnati is the number 3 dude.
Different, right?
It is different. Alec Pierce out of Cincinnati, and this is the little excerpt. This is a quote by Chris Sims. Nobody can run like Alec Pierce. He runs by everybody. There's nobody that can run with this kid. He's in the conversation for the best route runner in the whole draft. His ability to get off the line of scrimmage with different releases and do it like a pro, whether it'll be footwork, the hands, it's as good as it gets. Now, I listened to the podcast where he broke this down. So I remember him saying this. He does also go on to say that he goes on to call the Chris Olavey the best route runner in the class, which he absolutely is. I don't know. I didn't watch Alec Pierce, so I'm not going to speak to him personally. He also said that in the Alabama game when Cincinnati played Alabama, his perception was that they were scared of Alec Pierce. My perception when I watched that game, because I didn't study the wide receiver, I was studying Desmond Ridder. I kind of thought that they were scared of Desmond Ridder.
Yeah.
So I may have misevaluated that, and it's if I did, fair point. Maybe it's Alec Pierce. I kind of came away from watching the Alabama game and thinking, man, these DBs, the way they're playing in coverage, they're scared of Desmond Ridder. They're like, there must be something here. So maybe it was Alec Pierce. Maybe that is a thing, because Chris Sims even said that he came out lower on Desmond Ridder.
Less on Desmond Ridder because of the weapon.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. That's a name that I didn't know that I wanted to bring up as far as we were talking about how deep this draft class is.
Yeah.
Names like this that are going to go second, third round probably, that's interesting. And then this is a guy I knew nothing about. Christian Watson, North Dakota State. Number 2 on this
I think
list.
He's the prototype of the class, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the guys. But that goes to show that there was no Chris Olavey named in this. There was no Garrett Wilson, who I can
He likes more physical threats.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But it goes to a testament of the class saying how deep it's going to be when you're in the middle of the second or early third round and Christian Watson gets taken, and you can look back and say, that's Chris Sims number 2 in this entire class.
Yeah.
There's promise behind a lot of these guys here.
Yeah. Now, granted, I think Chris Sims number 3 in last year's class, which was loaded, was Diami Brown, who went to Washington.
Yeah.
And that was a little bit. He had a lackluster year, and he talked about it you probably missed on that. So there's a good chance he misses on this, but it is interesting. Compares him to a DK Metcalf, Chase Claypool, so just big, physical, fast guy. So that's the prototype, like you said. And then Jameson Williams was the number 1 in that class, basically saying he's a bigger DeMonte Smith, with all of the athleticism and explosiveness and all that, but he has a little bit more strength than DeMonte Smith did, who came out very small.
Yeah. The going rate right now is 5.5 wide receivers over under.
Yeah.
And we've named 5. Now it's not this 5. We've named our 5 and saying that it's going to be Burks, London, Olavey, Wilson, and Jameson.
So that's what we were talking about.
Is there an outside-in chance that a 6th creeps in? I don't know.
Yeah, I think there is, especially because especially late in the draft, you have the Packers drafting late, you have the Chiefs have 2 picks late, and if Garrett Wilson or the two Ohio State guys. I'm so sorry, I can't talk. Two Ohio State wide receivers gone. The Alabama wide receiver gone. Burks and Drake London gone. If they're all gone by pick 30, it wouldn't shock me a bit if the Chiefs want to take one of these two guys that Chris Sims mentions, or any number of other popular big names out there.
I guarantee you, there's going to be a weird name taken at the wide receiver position later on. There just always is. I mean, when did the Packers take? Now I know it wasn't in the first round, but Amari Rodgers, was a guy who was not supposed to go anywhere near where he did. Ends up going a little bit early just because certain teams feel different about guys.
I mean, N'Keal Harry went 32nd overall to the Patriots that year. I mean, so like it happens every year. That was the same draft class as Debo Smith and all those, or Debo Samuel and all those other guys.
Yeah.
So there's some big names. I wanted to go through here the actual list of teams that are almost certainly taking a wide receiver or need to take a wide receiver at this point, because you mentioned 5.5 as the line. Mm-hmm. How many teams are definitely taking a wide receiver regardless of who they are? Jets, we would agree, is probably one.
Yeah.
So just going down the list: Jaguars, Lions, Houston Texans. Jets come to me as the first
Texans
team.
need one, but they need so much that you don't take the luxury of a wide receiver.
Giants probably not, right?
No, Giants
Carolina
not.
Probably not. Giants again. Falcons are a possibility, but again, the Falcons are in that same boat where they need everything right now.
Yeah.
So I just don't imagine them trying to take a nice shiny piece, especially when they went luxury pick last year with Pitts. Denver Broncos, no. Jets pick at 10. To me, that's the wide receiver pick, but we already counted them. Washington, no. Minnesota, no. Cleveland Browns, no. Baltimore Ravens, they've done it the past 2 years, I think.
I mean, Baltimore has tried time and time again to attack the wide receiver position, and they've just done it in such a, I guess, unique way that I don't really think it's hit. I mean, Hollywood, I guess.
Yeah, Hollywood was a first round pick, and they got Bateman last year, so they drafted wide receiver. Eagles would make sense as a team. They have 3 picks in the first round from 15 to 19.
Eagles will definitely be getting a wide receiver one of these picks.
You think so? You think it's definitely?
Yeah,
so we'll
and
say
I'm
2
not worried
for sure.
about who they get. I'm worried about the team that gets to pick the next wide receiver, because that's the guy you got to watch out for. Whoever the Eagles take first, I'm sorry, I don't care about, but whoever gets taken next, he's all pro.
And it's a good point, because I mean we can agree that the guy that they got right before who was it?
They hit it right with Devontae Smith, but when they took Jalen Rieger and then the Vikings were able to get Justin Jefferson, that is what, going back, Justin Jefferson's a top 10 wide receiver in the league right now.
Yeah, and they don't really have anybody else right now.
No.
So that's probably going to take a wide receiver. Chargers, no. Saints, probably not. Maybe, I guess they need a wide receiver.
Saints are in that list. Yeah, Saints are on the list.
Are there a probably
not
wide receiver?
Not a definite, I would say, but they have a defense that's formidable enough to where I don't think that they make that pick. Offensive line, perhaps.
Fair enough. Patriots are probably maybe. Raiders.
Patriots are a yes.
Patriots are a yes is a very likely
but
team to take a wide receiver.
It's Bill Belichick.
Well, yes or no? I need yeses or nos.
Will they? Should they? Yes. Will they? No.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to count, because if I can get to 4 teams that I think will take a wide receiver, I mean, yeah, okay. Let's say the Patriots take a wide receiver. They can take a wide receiver.
They didn't sign anybody.
They didn't. They really didn't. Yeah, I don't know. Their wide receiver core is not great. Raiders, again, probably not.
No, they're good.
Cardinals, probably not. Cowboys, definitely not. Buffalo Bills, I think, are maybe. Titans definitely could.
Yeah.
The Packers definitely will at 28, assuming that there's somebody there. So I'll say right now I'm at 4 teams. Honestly, I'll say 5 teams with the Chiefs, getting 2 picks with the Chiefs. There's 5 teams that should and probably will take a wide receiver.
So then we're just evaluating whether there's one team that says we like this guy.
We found 3 or 4 that probably could.
Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, Raiders were not on that list, but they probably could. Steelers probably won't, but I mean, Saints were not on the list, but they probably could. There's a handful of teams, man. 5.5 is not crazy. It's a tough bet, but saying over is not crazy on that one. And there's certainly enough talent. So. You don't think so?
No, I don't think that it's crazy by any means.
Yeah.
I don't think that just because there's 6 taken that there's going to be home run hits in the class for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, the names that I've said, the 5, I'm very confident that they're going to go. It's only a matter if another one gets taken.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, hey, let's move on to the last thing that I really want to talk about, and that is the quarterback situation with Jimmy Garoppolo and Baker Mayfield. Right, both quarterbacks that I would say, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I would say deserve to be starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, that's fair.
They are one of the top 30 quarterbacks in the league.
Yes.
Agreed. So
I think they're better than Carson Wentz.
Yeah, that's a good point. How did Carson Wentz end up getting a starting job, a guaranteed starting job, basically?
Yeah.
And obviously, they're both attached to fairly large contracts. Jimmy G's is a little bit more manageable, but I mean, I think Baker is owed $17+ million, all guaranteed.
And that's really not that bad. I think it's the fact that it looms with the future behind it, the future money. What if you get a Baker and he gives you an above average what he's been doing year, where it's okay-ish, we're probably talking 15th overall in the league, just above half.
Yeah.
Do you pay the man? Did you just give up the pick for nothing? You know, where do you evaluate him at?
Yeah, and I would think if I'm the Browns, I want him out of the office as soon as I can. I want him off of, I want him in a different city as fast as I can. I would be calling up the Seahawks and saying, hey, will you take him for a conditional 7th? Like,
wow.
They have nobody. Seahawks, they have Drew Lock, but No,
I'm saying you're that low on a price tag, though.
No, I don't think they can get anything for Baker. I think if they could cut Baker right now. Baker goes immediately to the Steelers.
With the news that's come out, it's just been too damning.
Well, yeah, and everybody knows they have Deshaun Watson, so there's no trade value there. You're not going to have Baker sit as the backup. I don't think. I know the report came out today. I think that was a bullcrap report.
There's not enough of a demand.
Yeah, and the thing is, if they cut Baker Mayfield, they owe him $17 million. If Baker Mayfield goes and signs a $1.5 million contract with the Steelers, the Browns owe him the rest of that contract, right? So Baker's not getting more than $17 million for anybody next year, and he's guaranteed $17 million from the Browns. So if he wants to go to the Steelers and take that starting job, which is what I would do immediately, he's better than Mitch Trubisky, I think.
Yeah,
he's better than anybody else on the Steelers team.
And there's enough weapons on that team to where
he could be dangerous. I really believe that. I think he could be, and I think he could go there and earn a starting job and earn the future of that franchise, and go beat up on your ex-team twice a year.
Exactly. I think whichever quarterback's fortunate enough to get Mike Tomlin, who I do believe is one of the best coaches in the league, with the system that he puts around you and the team top to bottom. I mean, why would you not want to be a member of the Steelers? Predominantly always successful, I would say.
A great town. If you win there, you're a legend there.
Be careful with great town, though. Philly's a great town when you're winning.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm saying there's
I would argue the
towns.
Steelers. The Steelers are a great. I mean, the Steelers are just they're an A1 franchise all around.
They're a passionate fan base.
Yeah,
passionate team.
So what I'm saying is, if the Browns do cut Baker, which they're saying they're not going to do, they probably won't because they know what Baker will do. Baker goes up to Pittsburgh for $1 million. Hey, pay me $1 million. I'm getting 16 from the Browns. I don't give a crap. He can take a super team friendly deal just to go and try and fight for win that job on a pretty okay team. It has weapons. It's not perfect, but they're certainly in a mini rebuild. But they're not completely garbage by any means. They're going to win a lot of games this year.
Okay, so I think he's going to go to the Carolina Panthers.
See, I think Carolina drafts, but okay. So let's break this down.
Yeah.
There's 4 teams. There's the Seahawks obviously could use a quarterback. There's the Steelers, Carolina, Texans.
That's
it, right? There's no other team. I mean,
is there an outside shot at the Lions?
Lions, but they have Jared Goff and they're paying
Yeah.
I don't hate Jared Goff enough to say he's definitely worse than Baker or Garoppolo. I think he probably is worse than Baker and Garoppolo, but I think they're all in the same tier probably.
I think there's not a big enough upgrade to where you say, let's get rid of the guy who we're kind of just riding out this rebuild with.
Yeah, and if you're Baker or Garoppolo, you don't want to go to the Lions
to do another rebuild.
Yeah, exactly. So 4 teams, maybe you could throw in a handful of teams, like you said. Lions, Washington could be a team that would be somewhat interested. There's a handful of other teams out there, but those 4 are the only teams that really need a quarterback right now.
Yeah, and I think that Carolina makes not the most sense, but one of the. I mean, they have the money. Mm-hmm. They have capital. If capital is needed, I really don't think as much as needed.
Well, they don't have much. They don't have a second or third this year.
I'm just saying. I don't think it
would cost a third to get him.
In a healthy market where Baker, none of this happened with Deshaun, and it was good to go, and it was a Baker who didn't have his name kind of being drugged since the Odell stuff. So we started to see, we saw the peak right that season before.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, trade value's pretty much bottomed out to the point where, you're evaluating a cut. Yeah. You're evaluating a cut. We're looking at 5th, 6th, 7th, and change, whatever the case may be. And also, honestly, it's been said that the Browns may have to pay.
Yeah, I was going to say the Browns might offer a 4th just to get a team to pay half his contract.
Exactly.
I mean, that wouldn't be.
But Carolina has enough weapons around them. And if CMC's healthy, DJ Moore, Terrace Marshall, I like a lot of those.
And
guys.
It's not insane for them to take Baker and still draft somebody. They don't owe Baker anything, but they'll give Baker a shot to beat out a rookie.
Wouldn't bother me.
I don't think it would bother anybody. I mean, I guess if you're Baker, it bothers you a little bit that there's a younger guy behind you, but I mean, that's the market. Everybody's looking for a quarterback. So like, you take a quarterback 6 overall.
It would be weird to see that just that draft class as a whole. The Panthers took a shot on Sam Darnold. Baker went right before him.
They just keep taking shots. That's where, like, I mean, at a certain point, Matt Rule has to know, I need to tie my horse to a young upstart rookie who has 2 years of development in him before I have to really answer any questions.
Tie my horse to a good wagon that I choose, not the wagon that just so happens to be rotating.
Yeah, because that's what he's been done. I mean,
he made one shot with a Sam Darnold, and
which we all thought could work.
Yeah, there could have worked. A second round pick for the chance with upside, and regardless, you have to have a starting quarterback, and you're trying to win games.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that move at all.
Yeah,
I honestly am okay with the fact. Well, I can't say that yet. I'm assuming they're going to draft or they're going to find a replacement.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
They have to have. They haven't made any splashes.
As of now, they still have Sam on roster. And
I think Sam is going to be on that roster. Sam is going to be the lame duck quarterback, and I would imagine 6 overall as a quarterback. They probably have 2 that they like. They're probably comfortable with somebody trading up. Everybody's told me this is a bad quarterback class, though. So like, I don't think any team is going to look at this quarterback class saying this has to be the answer.
I've heard,
but every team's going to take a shot.
We've all heard it over and over again that if there's a guy that's there, they might it's like, I don't know if the trade value is there for the move or the jump up.
And I mean, it would not surprise me if these 2 guys. We really haven't talked about Garoppolo because it's a little bit more conceivable that he stays in San Francisco, because that could still work. But like, it wouldn't surprise me a bit if we're seeing moves and trades day 2 of the draft, day 3 of the draft, after the team that misses out on the quarterback doesn't get their guy. They say, okay, well, Baker's our second option.
Yeah, and I think that's where it should sit, though.
Yeah,
I don't think that Baker is definitively better than the mystery that you could pull in the draft right now in a Malik Willis or a Kenny Pickett or whatever the case may be. If you're telling me I could have Kenny Pickett or Baker Mayfield, I'm going to go with Kenny Pickett and the upside, just the chance that we haven't seen the ceiling
be a superstar.
Yet. Exactly.
I know what Baker probably is.
Yeah.
I don't know what Kenny Pickett could be.
Baker's a good quarterback at times, but superstar limited. For him being taken first overall, I've said before, he didn't have that wow it factor, that the same level that the Josh Allens, the Kyler Murrays, the so on, and Joe Burrows, all those guys exhibit.
Yeah,
that's what you need out of that.
And it is kind of funny how the media drives so much perception with especially quarterbacks and drafting quarterbacks and all that, because and the NFL kind of tells you after the fact where the honesty is, and I think the NFL over exaggerates it too. But just looking at like, I think we could have looked at that draft class if we really would have looked at it and said, okay, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, all these guys have potential. Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, all these guys had potential, but none of them were sure things the way everybody told us they were in the media. You know what I mean? Yeah. Everyone was trying to argue, oh, he's better, but they're all going to be great. And now 3-4 years later, there's really only one that hit. But any one of them could have hit. You know what I mean? We didn't know at the time that it was going to be Josh Allen. I think everyone would, not everyone, but I think we all could have agreed that he probably had the highest ceiling, and he just happened to hit it. It's just interesting this year where, the media hasn't been on all these guys. Everyone's telling us that this is a bad quarterback class, and I don't think it's inherently that much worse. I definitely think it's worse.
It's a change of tune from what we're used to.
Yeah, I don't think it's inherently that much worse than some of the draft class we got. Yes, there's not the golden boy that we had last year in the top pick. There's no question about it. But there's certainly some like upside with all these guys, and there's a chance that Matt Corral ends up in the right spot and he ends up being a baller. There's a chance that Kenny Pickett, who I like a lot, he's my guy, ends up being the guy. Like, I think all these guys have the same kind of upside and potential as any other draft class, the guys that went in the first round. It's just about picking your guy and hoping you hit.
I think it all goes off a landing spot.
Yeah.
Depending on what weapons you have around you, depending on just the damn meal that you had that morning before, the night that you had before your first game going out there. Attitude, emotions, all of that sets a major tone when it comes to handling the pressure with it. I'm serious.
I absolutely agree.
Confidence is a huge thing for quarterbacks, and then when you get a certain stigma around you, you start 4 games in and you're looking like shit. Media's calling for you.
Yeah.
Nowadays, if you cannot handle the pressure, I can't blame you at all. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's so and really even this past year, we can look at like Sam Darnold's a great example of that, where there was some like quiet optimism. There were certainly talking heads. I know I don't consider myself a talking head just because I'm not, we're not big enough, but I certainly was like high enough on Sam Darnold. I thought that could have worked. And then it kind of worked to start, and then he gets hurt and has a couple bad games, and all of a sudden, well, Sam Darnold's not the answer. And I'm not saying he is the answer. I'm just saying
so quick to just forget everything.
We gave it up by week 8.
Yeah.
Week 8, we had seen 4 good games. They started off pretty hot, like they looked pretty good, and then it just kind of fell apart. But week 8, it was over. Week 9, it was over, and they were already moving on. Obviously, you got hurt too. That didn't help. But it is interesting how quickly it changes in a 2-month span.
You got to reap the rewards now, and you got to keep it going, because we are so quick to just ball it up and toss it away.
All right, I'm good. Do you have anywhere else you want to go?
That's it, man.
Any conversation?
I'm excited for the draft. I think these next few weeks we're probably going to really ramp it up with getting ready for that.
Absolutely. I'm really excited for the draft. It's going to be fun. Basketball bets. Where are your basketball bets? You've been killing it with basketball now.
Yeah, no, I've been doing really good.
Put it out there.
I've been doing really good with some. So tonight,
this comes out Wednesday. Do you have anything for tomorrow?
Take Kansas. Kansas Duke.
Kansas Duke
national championship.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's what I picked. I had 3 out of 4 in the final 4. Thought I had 4 out of 4, but my dyslexic ass had I don't know. UNC,
UCLA. You had UCLA. Yeah.
UCLA and UNC.
I really like Villanova. So the Kansas Villanova game catches me. I think Duke, with the storyline, I'm gonna say it. I think it's rigged. I think all of it's rigged.
But the calls haven't really been that.
I'm not talking about calls being that egregious or anything. I just think the storyline with Coach K and the last ride, the rivalry that is Duke and UNC Chapel Hill with North Carolina, like they've never played in the tournament before, and you're just so happen to tell me that the last year that they do is Coach K's last time ever coaching with a team that struggled. This is the worst Duke team on paper that we have seen in, maybe not years and years.
They learned to play as a team and win as a team.
Exactly. This sounds like a movie.
It does. I like it.
It's going to be a movie one day. They're going to do a documentary about Coach K, and guess what? I bet it's going to be written, and it's already written.
Duke's going to win.
That he wins it all.
Dub City.
I don't know how.
Dub City. All I need is for Duke or Kansas to win, and we win our Between the Pylons, or I win our Between the Pylons.
Pretty cool.
Thing. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. All right, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week. Peace.